Thank you. All right, good morning, everyone. Just a couple of quick announcements. You know that we have a partnership with Art of Living, and if anybody is taking the meditation class or the sky breathing technique, excuse me, we're meeting here every last Saturday of every month here in the sanctuary, and we do a meditation and breathing technique if you've taken the classes. So if you haven't, please see me because I'd love to get you involved. It's been a really great experience. Coming up March 16th, we're going to have our annual meeting here right after the service. That'll be March 16th, so please be sure and plan on being here for that. And lastly, on April 19th, Matt Venuti is a musician here. He's played, down at Bob's at the clubhouse, and people just love him. He's played at Unity North Atlanta, and it's a musical visual experience that we're going to have here in the sanctuary, and that's April 19th. But we'll have a lot more about that coming up. But that's about it. Thank you much.
Thank you, Bruce. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. If you will, take a moment to relax and get centered. Take a pause from the goings on in the world and focus our attention on the indivisible one presence, one power, God the good, omnipotent. In this sacred space, we give thanks in advance for the activity of intelligence, for the movement of divine love, stirring the hearts of the people gathered together in this room, in the community at large, and in the world. We speak blessings on the people gathered here today, safety, comfort, and guidance, and on the world at large as we navigate these times. We open our minds and our ears to the flow of divinity so that the presence of life may speak to us and lift us up so that we can collectively hold the high watch and not just see the good, but be participants of the good that's unfolding here and now, both in the world, in our individual lives, and in our homes. We speak in advance blessings on the service and to those that are tuning in online, and we speak healing and protection for our Monday through Friday, affirming that we are safe, loved, and infinitely guided. Collectively we say, and so it is. Amen. Good morning, if you will. Take a moment to be centered as we enter into the silence, which is a unity phrase coined by Charles Fillmore to describe the presence that's never in absence. Right where you are, allow yourself to be comfortable. And with me, take one collective deep breath into the nose, out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if you can, in your heart, in your imagination, hold a space for good, for possibility, for hope. Allow that to be your anchor on this morning in this meditation, as we allow our minds to rest in our bodies, as our bodies are resting in our seats. Simply relax, knowing that where you are, God is, and all is becoming well.
Thank you, everyone. Continue to be in that position. I want you to take, with each breath in, hold it for 3 seconds, and then let it out, and hold for another 3 seconds. And with each inhale, I want you to set an intention. And release all that doesn't suit you. Your intention can be bringing more love into your life and sharing it with those around you in the world. Your intention could be aligning yourself with the abundance that awaits you. Abundance in health, abundance in joy, abundance in love, peace, and wealth. So pick your word. And I want you to breathe it in through your crown, down to your toes, and hold for 3 seconds. And release all. That must go. We're going to do this for 5 more breaths. Breathe in. Release all that doesn't suit you. For the next 5 breaths, we're going to do a body scan where that light that we pull through our crown gently covers us from our head through our esophagus, moving down through our chest, our abdomen, encapsulating your spine, the light is moving through your hip bone, offering health and rejuvenation to every cell it touches. Move the light, push it gently through your extremities, through your joints, your elbows and your knees. Let that light reach all the way down to your ankles. Through each toe, feel the tingle of health, of love that fills each cell. For the next 3 breaths, just feel the effects of that light moving through you. And imagine that it's going everywhere it needs to go. It's doing all it needs to do. Because the divine light is you, moving through you. that light to extend beyond you. Send goodwill and healing energy to your neighbor. Allow it to gently reach beyond this room, beyond these walls, that when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. And send that love and light to all whom need it, whom could use it. Keep sending it. I want you to take one final, very deep breath in. Hold it. And then release it aloud in a comfortable. Come back to the room, wiggle your toes, your fingers. Release your neck if that feels good. Let's get the blood going back. Thank you for sharing this meditation with me. May your day be blessed. Ashe.
In that same spirit, just stay right there for a few minutes. Resting in the presence. Resting in the presence. With the goal to embody this feeling so that when we leave this sacred dedicated space, we can take it with us. And when this feeling leaves, we've developed the connections in our mind and body to return back to this feeling on our own. Knowing that when we do so, we will be surrounded by a cloud of witnesses and family and ancestors and spiritual support, giving us strength and vitality. Because when we meditate as a collective. And when you're ready, take one big deep breath with me in through the nose, out through the mouth, release the sound of letting it all go. So it is. If you would rub your hands together, let's send this healing energy to those that are watching online. Wake up, people, don't go to sleep. Say this with me. Divine love, in us, blesses all that you hear, all that you have. Know in this moment you are safe and loved. And so it is. Our ministry is supported by partners like you. Remember to log on to unitybham.org and click on giving. Moderators are always on standby both before and after the service. So wherever you see this message, either on Facebook, YouTube, or our website, make sure you click like and subscribe and share this conscious message with friends and family. Say amen to that with me. Amen. And for those that are in the house that are in need of prayer support, we do have our prayer chaplain. So you put your hands together for our prayer chaplain. Amen. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Sacred text says, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of spirit. Join me in an opening affirmation. I was glad.
I was glad.
They said unto me, let us go into the house of spirit. Affirmations are powerful simply because they make firm. That's the goal, affirmations. And one of the things that I found about them is that they make firm things that I haven't quite come to the realization of myself. So through the process of telling myself, these affirmations almost become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when we affirm the good, what we're doing is sort of like in education. In education, they call it backward course design, where you start from the end and you assume that everyone is already graduated, that everyone is already free, that everything has already been done, all their needs are met, and then you start building out the course. We do the same thing in spiritual practice. When we affirm the good in spite of what's happening in the objective world, whether we can see it or not, we sort of make the case in our consciousness until our mind and our bodies come together in alignment and agree that everything is going to be okay, even if we can't quite see it or we can't quite see all of it. There's a part of us that catches it, which is why in spiritual practice we talk so much about inner work and consciousness and inner life. I mean, we say the word consciousness so much it's almost like abracadabra. I look at you and go, consciousness, and something magical happens. But in the words of Johnny Coleman, we get it in our minds first, and it's important because when a thing or an idea has resonated with you to the point to where it's gotten in your mind and in your heart, or Jesus said it like this, when 2 or 3 come together in my name, meaning the mind and the heart, if they can come together and agree on an idea, on a vision, or a concept like love and possibility and goodness, together with that agreement in mind and body, you're able to take it with you no matter what happens. There will be times where your objective world will seem as if it contradicts your internal reality. There'll be times when people will tell you, you crazy. Or they may even say, y'all crazy. But when you hold on to that reality, you find out that you end up being on the right side of history. And you don't even get to say, I told you so. You know why? Because they're going to say, I knew that already. I was right there with you. And you're going to look at them and go, mm-hmm. So I'm not saying don't be afraid. But sacred text says, let not your heart be troubled. For if you believe in God, believe also in me. And that too is an affirmation. Because in addition to your faith in an invisible reality that it invades our consciousness, we're one with it, it's one with everything that exists, both in the world, outside of the world, etc. That belief is good. But at some point, through your affirmative work and through your prayer work and coming together in spiritual community, that work gets embodied to the point to where you start believing not just in God, but you believe also in yourself. You believe in your own abilities in spite of. And that is a hard pill to swallow, especially as a spiritual person. We're being asked as spiritual people to believe in spite of the obvious. Why? Because our practices teach us that we walk by faith and not by sight. So we live our lives based on internal convictions. And these internal convictions sometimes contradicts the world. You know why? Because the world is growing up as best it can, collectively, us too, into the awareness of perfect love. Sometimes it gets it right, and we're like, yes! And sometimes it's like, what planet am I on? Is it just me? So my first ask on today as spiritual people is to give the world a chance. And you give the world a chance by refusing to lose hope. Which is why my message title on today, under the theme of compassion, is Holding the High Watch. Say this with me, holding the high watch.
The high watch.
And it's a phrase they use in Unity a lot. dating all the way back to Charles Fillmore. And holding the high watch, depending on how you look at it, can seem kind of weird. It's like, what does that mean, holding the high watch? Holding the high watch is not taking the bypass. Holding the high watch causes us to do two things. To see the world as it is, which is sometimes the hard thing to do. And I want to remind everyone, all of the spiritual activists that are in the room and those that are watching online, as you see the world the way it is, remember to take care of yourself. Because sometimes the things that you see can be troublesome. The attempts to legislate your mind, the attempts to legislate your body, the attempts by those on high, quote unquote, to tell you who you are, what you think, how to behave, and so on and so forth. So holding the high watch can be tough, but I feel like we can do it because we've done it before. And so my ask is that we do it again. So staring into the darkness is tough. But one of the things that I've learned about darkness is that our brains are encased in darkness, but we see it in living color. Your visual cortex is in the back of your head, but we see visually, seemingly, right here up front. Sacred text says in the book of Genesis that the Spirit of God hovered over the face of darkness. Darkness is a place where development happens, where formation happens. Who's ever been in school before? Oh my God. Formation happens in darkness. Who's ever been in a womb before? All of us, one should hope. Formation, look how beautiful you turned out. Put your hands together for all the goodness. You can smile this morning. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this together. But formation happens in the darkness. So the darkness is not the absence of spirit. Sometimes those dark moments, ooh, thank you, you got it back. Darkness is the place where spirit is moving almost covertly. But I want you to know, during the times in your life, as you are holding the high watch, when you can't see the hand of God, when you can't see the presence of life, when you can't see the hands and the arms and the ears of love, not just reflected back in the world through the elements, but reflected back in the world through the people that say they embody the principle of life. That the presence of God is still there, hovering over the face of the waters. Those waters are our watery emotions. Those waters are the tears from our eyes. In the words of Dr. Moss, he says that the world can dance to our rhythm, but they don't want to sing our blues at times. Dr. Otis Moss. So the Spirit of God hovers over the face of the waters. Everything you feel, God is right there with you. So we're being asked on this morning to peer deep within the darkness, knowing that our eyes will adjust. And at the same time to hold the highest watch for the potential of good, knowing that the lights won't just come on externally, but the lights will come on from the flame, the Spirit of God, the presence of God, that's moving and abiding within your heart and your mind. You know how I know? I'm glad you asked. It's because you're not out here by yourself. Even if you feel alone, and the helplessness that we can feel sometimes as a people, as a citizenry, as a society, that helplessness is shared by others in the world. So even in your loneliness, you're still not alone. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. It doesn't matter where you go. Everywhere you go, there you are. And not just you individually, but you as a collective. There are people all over the world. Elijah, you're not the only prophet. There are 4,000 who have not bowed their knees to oppression and injustice. My personal prayer is that one day those 4,000, as I said in a couple weeks, all get together and find a way to meet. Which is why community is so powerful. Because although we have individual fears and individual worries about gloom and doom and the things that arise, yes, we should. But that's not the end of the story. For sacred text says, "For I know the end from the beginning." So ours to do is to write a new ending. And then with God, we walk that thing back. And we allow that heavenly consciousness, that heavenly mindset, which sounds like a utopia to some. That'll never happen. You know, you've heard that. We'll never all get along. Things will never be fine. It'll always be messed up. Who's heard that? Our job is to hold on to that in consciousness, link up with others that think so, and the light that we're waiting to come on in the objective world will come on within us. That individual spark within you will light into a flame because you're united with other light workers. So wherever you are, even those that are listening to this message, you want strength. You want support. You want to know what to do. Find your people. Find your community. Because although there might be things that we want to do, my ask is that you find the good that you can do, and you start right there. Because every little bit, ounce of good matters. In the words of Bell Hook, we live in a society where love is a revolutionary act. As I said on the last couple of weeks, where "I love you" isn't the most popular thing to say, but "have you seen that" is the most popular thing to say. So as spiritual people, sometimes our spiritual work, we don't feel it. Yeah, I go to church, read the Bible, Quran, and meditation and prayer. Yeah. But there are other days we feel that thing. Bell Hooks' pastor at the time told her, she said that church or spiritual centers are the places where our hearts are prepared to handle the weight of our calling. That's why we're here. We're here because we need each other. Those that are watching online, even if you're introverted, there's a community of introverts out there for you. Thomas Merton, real quick sidebar. He was a theologian and a mystic and a priest. He went to his old monastery. He said, "All y'all ain't special." He said, "Y'all just a bunch of introverts." Hiding out from the world, feeling holier than thou. My point is, sorry introverts, I want to. We need each other. We need community. That's how we hold the high watch. And the highest watch isn't just to overlook things as they are and hold on to things as we wish them to be. The high watch calls us to have a dual consciousness, to see the world as it is, to see the world better than it can be, and then bring heaven down on earth through our embodied actions. Where you are, to make it real, there's a nonprofit somewhere around you. We're one. There is a fellowship somewhere around you. There is a support group somewhere around you. There's a foundation somewhere around you. If you can't physically give your time, you can sow a seed, support them. Every little bit counts. Or you can be a resource in your home. Sacred text says that we are sanctuaries, living embodiments of the temple and the presence of God. So we literally are cities set on a hill that cannot be hid. Another way to hold the highest watch is to be that for your family. While the media is providing catchphrases and headlines that make us nervous and angry and upset, you can choose to inform yourself based on the headline and the punchline, or do a deeper dive into our history. So you substitute headlines for intelligence, headlines for history, a punchline on social media for a book. So that when you are in those predicaments and you have to be a resource, you have an answer and not a 2-minute Facebook rant. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Because we are more as a people. We are more than just our anger. By their fruits they shall be known. We are known for our love. And love is not a passive act. Love is an act of spiritual liberation and spiritual activism that empowers us, watch this, not just to pray, but also to move our feet. Not just to get on social media and post because we're mad, but to pick up a book or find actual information and do the research so we become librarians and scholars for ourselves and for our families. So when we are in conversation, they can be mad, but we can be scholarly. That's what Spirit calls us to. That's how you hold the highest watch. You come up a level. In the words of Michelle Obama, when they go low,
we go high.
We go high. You find the information. You find the source. You find the language. You look at alternative views. You look at alternative news. You empower and inform yourself so that you can become a resource for your family. And when you do that, you embody what sacred text says, what Paul told Timothy, study to show yourself approved unto God. Paul wasn't just talking about spiritual literacy. He was talking about the information of the age, the information in the world, the information of our collective and shared past, the things that we have come from and come through as a society, which informs who we are today. Knowing that the general public might sway one way, but with information, insight, time, and activism, guess what? They always come back. It's painful to watch, right? It's even more painful to live. But think about everything else that you have lived through. It's not something that you would have wanted, but we do it to show our children how to do it right. So that when we close our eyes and they have a battle to fight, excuse me for saying that in church, but they have a battle to fight in their day, because we all, every generation, unfortunately, has its war, right? Whether it's a war of the minds, physical war, etc. Wars and rumors of war, sacred text says, they'll always be prevalent. But that just means we have even more work to do, y'all. So when we close our eyes, they know what to do. And when the feelings of helplessness, doubt, and limitation, and scarcity, and not enoughness, and they're right, I'm wrong, division, polarization, when all of that arises in the collective soup of the world, they'll know that everything that comes up does so in order to be healed. That what I'm seeing, although it may be the loudest, it's not the majority. Because one of the things that I've learned is that the loud ones are never the majority. They're just loud. They're irritable, get on your nerves. Ah! They're never in the majority. There's always the silent majority. And true power is always in the hands of the people. So there is something that you can do. When you sit with Spirit, you will find out what that is, and God will activate you. And you do that good thing that you can, even if it's doing what I can to take care of myself so that I can be a better resource for the people in my house. Doesn't mean you won't be upset. Doesn't mean there won't be things you don't understand, because we're not even being called to know it all. But we're being asked to know how to explore and experiment and find the answer. So I don't know, I give up, becomes I don't know, let me go find out. Y'all with me? Yep. That's how we hold the high watch. Real quick, to sort of ground this message in deeper spiritual text, I want to point your attention to a 12th century person, 12th century BCE. Her name was Deborah, 12th century prophet, located in the book of Judges. The book of Judges is an interesting book in the Torah. It's interesting because scholars suggested it was written sometime between the 6th and 7th century. They even suggest that Judges, Deuteronomy, and 1 Kings were probably all the same book, maybe edited during the time of Josiah, somewhere in the 6th or 7th century, but they're not sure. Scholarship, it's always in process. Right? Deborah lived in the 12th century, so at some point they wrote her story down to chronicle the heroes of their day. Sacred text tells us to mark the wholesome individual. That's also how we hold the high watch. We find heroes and heroines to look up to. We see what they did, and we do likewise. And unfortunately, this isn't knocking our generation, but when you don't see inspiration in front of you, look above you and behind you. Look to the future and look to the past. Look in your families, 60s, 70s, 80s, all 90-year-olds, those who are no longer here. Look at what they lived through and then go and do likewise. So Deborah is talked about in the book of Judges. And to kind of wrap this message up, the 5th chapter is where I want to point your attention to, that first verse. Deborah and Barak, yes, his name was Barak, had a collective song that they sung because music was a force of empowerment. It was a form of spiritual activism within their community. And in this song of victory, I'm not going to sing, no. Chapter 5, verse 1, Deborah and Barak collectively say that the presence of God, I'm ad-libbing, is praised. You know why? Because the citizens, the princes and princesses of Israel, the princes and princesses of our people, volunteered to rise up. They were able to liberate themselves as a collective people, not because those who were the top 1% of society in their day decided to legislate things from on high. They were able to rise up as a people because ordinary citizens discovered their power. So to wrap this message up, you are empowered because you are made in the image and likeness of God. No matter what comes, if you need to take a knee, take a knee. You need to get a nap, get a nap. You need to rest, rest up. But no matter what comes, the presence of God that is within you is more powerful than the negative external reality outside of you. And when you know that and find your community, together you are able to hold the highest watch. So that the presence of life, the presence of good, all of the things that we talk about in spiritual centers, so that they won't just be something in the future, that they'll be right here and right now in our lived experience. With me, take a big, deep breath. Let this information rest, rule, and abide in our minds and our hearts, knowing that a better day is not yet coming, but it is here alive in our hearts and minds, and we don't have to realize that alone. But in collective community, we can know that to be an objective fact. Thank you for listening. Peace and blessings. Our offering. For those of you that give online, remember to log on to unitybham.org and click on giving. Those that give in-house, our ushers are making their way forward to collect the offering as LaDonna gives us a special selection. Take it away. Yes.
Yeah. It ain't working too good. I'm gonna do it this way. Lead me on the high watch. Lead me to the high watch. Lead me on the high watch. Lead me on the high watch. Lead me on the high watch.
Say this with me. We bless this offering. Affirming it will be used for the building of this ministry. We bless the givers. And we declare their gifts will return back to them. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Put your hands together one more time.
We could all stand for let there be peace on earth. Prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is.
Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.
Thank you much.